Miss Laura from Madison Public Library, back with another DaVinci's workshop. This time we are going to be planting some seeds, and hopefully they will turn into plants in just a few weeks. And in your STEAM kit, you'll find your instruction sheet. Then you'll have a little seed starter tray with 6 cells in them. Have a bag of soil that's potting mix. You have a little bag of seeds. It'll be either basil, thyme, or lavender. So I have some left over here of basil and thyme. Then you'll have a little marker of what the plant is. And of course, you'll have a little slip of paper with the information that is on the seed packet. And from home, you'll need water, either distilled, or you can use water from the sink, but it should be left out for a few hours so that some of the chlorine can come out and it would just be better for the plants. Or, I hope this works, but I will be using some bottled water, and it's room temperature. And in addition to water from home, you'll also need a container that's big enough to fit your seed starter tray, and it needs to give you enough room to pack in your soil into the seed tray. Or you can do this outside, but it will just prevent a big mess when you're done. So the first step is to take your bag of soil and open it up. And then you want to take your water and you just want to add a little bit, up to 4 tablespoons. I'm just going to eyeball this. And then you just want to reseal the bag, keeping as much air in there as possible. And then just go ahead with your hands and start mushing it around and getting that water integrated into the soil. I ended up adding a little bit more water. I think it is under 4 tablespoons that I use. So I think there's enough moisture in here to help us pack in the soil into our seed trays. So that's the next step. You want to get your big container. Then you want to put your seed starter tray in it. Then put your bag of soil in there too. Open it up. And then you're just gonna go ahead and scoop it out with your hands and start tightly packing it into the seed starter trays. So you just want to start scooping out the soil, and you can squeeze it in your hands just to pack it in a little more. And drop it into each plant cell. And pack it in as best as you can. And you don't have to go one by one, you can just throw it on top and then pack it down once you think there's enough in the tray. Okay, so I think this is good. It's nice and packed in there. So now I will be putting the seeds in. And for this, it would be a good idea to find a little sharp point or a stick like this, and that's what we're going to use to make the holes to put our seeds in. So I'm starting with the thyme seeds. These ones are really tiny, you can barely see it in my fingers. I'm holding one in between my fingers. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to just poke little holes into the soil. And in the instructions, and according to the seed packet, we're supposed to put these either a 1/4 of an inch down or an 1/8 of an inch down in the soil. So you can pretty much eyeball this For the thyme and the basil, you can just go a little bit deeper with the hole. So the thyme and the basil is supposed to be 1/4 of an inch. And then for each of these cells, you'll be making 3 holes that are evenly spaced out. So I've got 2. Now here's the 3rd one. And then all you want to do is take your little tiny seeds. They have a green coating that's supposed to help them grow, I think. Then you just want to do 1 seed per cell. Just threw mine in there. Do another. And another. And all you have to do is lightly pack the soil on top of it. And then we can move on to another cell. So 3 of these I'm going to do thyme, and the other 3 I'm going to do basil, and I will see what plants grow from this. Now I'm going through and adding a little bit more soil on top of everything. And you probably can see that some of the seeds aren't all the way covered up yet. Now you just want to take your water. You don't want to put too much water in there, but just water the tops of each cell. So I hope I didn't just overwater them. But as long as your finger is not coming up completely soaked from the water and just a little bit damp, then you should be okay. So now that we have finished planting our seeds, you just have to find a sunny place, either in your house, like on a windowsill, that gets a good amount of sunlight every day, or maybe is in direct sunlight. And then you just water your plants each day, making sure each cell gets enough water, but also you don't want to overwater it. You don't want them to be overflowing with water at the top or leaking from the bottom too much. And once it's consistently warm out, you might as well put them outside in a safe place, hopefully away from animals. But next thing you know, in a few weeks, since we've planted a whole bunch of seeds in there, I'm hoping that you have some luck with growing either basil, thyme, or lavender. Now, I just realized I didn't go over the planting of our lavender seeds. Those ones can be even closer to the surface. So you can just, so for those ones, you don't really even have to poke holes into the planter. You can just put them on top and then do a very thin layer of soil on top and just pack it down. So I also have on your instructions a little explanation about the life cycle of plants. So as we see here, they start as tiny little seeds in soil, and if they get enough sunlight and water, they will start growing. So these seeds contain a plant with stems, roots, and leaves, and once they start growing, that is called germination. And as that process continues, the seed starts growing roots into the soil. At the same time that the roots are growing, a little stem will start popping up through the soil and rising up and popping out of the ground as it continues to grow. They're pushing up out of the soil to find sunlight. And on our stem, that's where the leaves start growing over time. So the leaves will unfold as they're taking in the sunlight, and they will start producing food for themselves through photosynthesis. And once we have the leaves, that's when the flowers will start opening up and blooming. Some seeds and plants are perennial, while others are annual. Perennials have a life of over 1 year, while annuals only have a life of 1 year and then they die out and you have to replant them each spring. As you'll see on your seed packet information, lavender and thyme are perennial herbs, so you don't have to replant them every spring, but basil is an annual one, so it will die within a year and you will have to replant it. So that's it for my overview of the life cycle of a plant. And if you want to learn more, you can come to the library and check out some books on plants and gardening, and I will include some links to fun videos and informational websites for you to learn more. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this activity, and I'll see you again next time for another DaVinci's workshop. Bye!